I'm not going to cover these just piece by piece. I want to start off making two controversial statements to you. I want to wake you up with something. At 4:30 this morning, when friends of mine were coming in from a great night, I was up doing this. Wondering if I'm talking about you, aren't you? Thing one. Many sales reps sabotage their success by making the customer's decision too difficult, and by not following the customer's decision-making process. In other words, with all the training we have, we make this too difficult sometimes. We make this more difficult than it needs to be, because it actually can be simpler than we make it. It's hard. And the reason, anytime, by the way, anything is hard but is simple, the key element becomes discipline. So we don't always follow the disciplines, but I'm going to make my second controversial statement. And that was, many of us work for companies that create these problems because they emphasize the wrong priorities during training. And they teach sales reps a process that, even when performed well, has failure built in. Is that controversial enough? So I basically said, sales reps, you often make your job too difficult, more difficult than it has to be, and it's already hard. And companies, you very often create this within the sales rep yourself. So here are some questions I want to ask you. These are rhetorical. You do not have to raise your hand. Here's some questions. When the prospect trusts you, in other words, they believe that everything you say is the truth, do you have a better chance of closing that deal? And obviously the answer to that is yes. When the prospect trusts you to the degree that they will answer all of your questions honestly, do you have a better chance to get the deal? All right? When the customer believes that you actually know what you're talking about, that maybe you actually are an expert, that you have a better chance of closing that deal. When the prospects believe that you understand them, that you understand the situation in their property, and that it actually matters to you, you care about what happens, do you believe that your closing rate rises? When the prospect believes that they have to change their current situation, in other words, forget you, they believe they have to replace their roof, their windows, their sunroom, their water situation, whatever that is, they believe that they have to make that change. Do you believe that that urgency to act will give you a higher closing rate? So far we agree on this. My time this morning at 4:30 was well spent. If you really believe that, then you believe that if people don't trust you, if they do not believe that you know what you're talking about, if they don't have urgency, if they don't trust you, if you don't have credibility, if you haven't developed rapport, if you haven't developed urgency, then you're less likely to get the order. Well, I want to ask you some more questions. At the conclusion of a presentation that you did not sell, how often does somebody say, you know, I like your window, I just don't trust you? Have you heard that very often? How about this? You know, I've heard of your company, I've seen you on television, I like your roofing shingle. I don't think you have a clue what you're talking about. Have you heard that? But do you believe that some of them are thinking that? And do you believe you have the power to create that perception in their minds? So, follow this. Do you believe at the end some people don't think you care? Well, I got news for you. If you care, and the people don't believe it, you get the same result as if you didn't care at all. So that all of these are perceptions, they are beliefs people have about you, and we all like to come back and say, I'm the reason the deal is sold or not sold. And yet when you come back into the office, you tell us it was because of something else. The price, a cheap competitor, the people are stupid, they're rotten, they're mean, they're rotten listeners, etc. So, here's what I will tell you. If you meet the people in this room who follow our system, here's what you're going to find out. that they are successful at developing trust, credibility, urgency, and rapport before they deliver a company story. So that when they deliver the company story, the person believes what they said and said, yes, that is the kind of person I want to do, the kind of company I want to do business with, because you are the kind of person I want to do business with. I believe what you're telling me is the truth. I believe you're an expert, and I have to do something about my windows, my roof, my patio, whatever else that would be.